Avatar: Fire and Ash is set to hit theaters in December, and while we haven't been privy to a trailer just yet, that doesn't stop us from making some predictions. Let's take a look at what we think will happen in Avatar 3. In a leaked script from the behind-the-scenes video building the world of Pandora, several potential plot threads were revealed. Among them, it seems as though Spider will gain the ability to breathe Pandoran air in the sequel. There's no telling exactly how this happens, but it's an interesting platform from which to stage a few theories. For one, it could be that it has to do with Kiri and her connection to Awa, which is essentially the consciousness that binds all of Pandora's natural environments and people. It's also known as the All-Mother or Great Mother, and Kiri's relationship with this being is the central mystery proposed by the Way of Water. The leaked script also reveals some dialogue between Mo'at and Kiri, in which Mo'at says, "I do not understand this. Why the Great Mother would save the boy, then deny you now." Speculation suggests that the boy she's referring to could be Spider, who after some sort of violent moment is saved by Awa, and through some mystical connection gives him the ability to breathe without the use of an oxygen mask. It could also be Kiri herself who produces this result, albeit through the use of Awa's powers. Sticking to Spider for a moment, one element we haven't been spoiled on but which has seen some fan speculation is where Spider will land in his alliances. Having saved his father Quaritch from near death in Way of Water, he seems to have made it pretty clear that he's on the side of Jake Sully and his family. However, since the Na'vi tend to not fully accept Spider as one of their own, it could be that his arc is destined to land in the realm of villainy. A big part of this theory has to do with actor Jack Champion mentioning in an interview that Avatar: Fire and Ash will take a hard left turn that's sure to surprise audiences. It's also rumored that the film takes place after a significant time jump, meaning that the character has had time to reconsider his path in life and his relationship with his father. It could be that he has grown resentful of the way he's treated by the Na'vi, and this resentment will grow into a villainous turn.
Just ride along.
The fact that the Ash people are antagonistic toward our heroes suggests that there could be an alliance afoot between them and another bad guy. While there's the possibility that they'll shack up with the RDA and help that organization in clamping down on Jake Sully and friends, we think that the more likely situation is one wherein Quaritch becomes embraced by our fire-based villains. The Ash clan, also known as the Monquan clan, appear to represent a side of grief that could befall our heroes following the death of Jake Sully's son Netayam. Since they're antagonists, we can assume that their views on the world are distorted and cruel compared to that of Jake, his family, and the clans they've been a part of so far. If that's the case, it could be that Quaritch sees himself in the Monquan and therefore finds himself drawn to their way of life. We've seen via recently released concept art that the Monquan live in a desolate, burnt-away place known as Ash Village. Production designer Dylan Cole told Empire that the image shows the remains of the Monquan's home tree. He went on to explain that they had a natural disaster befall them, and that sort of helped shape their culture. So much of the world of Pandora is rich and vibrant and full of life. This is just the exact opposite. Perhaps the Monquan feel abandoned by their fellow Na'vi, and Quaritch may be in just the right position following his massive failure in the Way of Water to find a new home, or at least an uneasy alliance, with the Ash people. At the very least, based on concept art for the film, Quaritch will meet with the Ash clan. The art shows what appears to be Quaritch with his hands bound, being led to a large tent within Ash Village. Presumably, this is where he'll meet their leader, Varang, as portrayed by Una Chaplin, the granddaughter of noted silent film icon Charlie Chaplin. Other concept art shows that the Monquan appear to wear severed Kuru from other Na'vi, suggesting that they may be the perfect ally for someone as cruel as Quaritch. In fact, they may be so cruel as to teach Quaritch something about the nature of evil, thereby resulting in his eventual heroic turn to good. That turn isn't set in stone, and might be the flimsiest part of this theory. However, it's worth noting that Quaritch has seen the good that Jake Sully has done, most notably in teaching Spider to be a good-hearted young man.
This is wrong! What you're doing here is wrong!
He's also a recombinant, meaning that while he is a clone of the original Quaritch, he's not the exact same man.
Oh, you can kill us, but we'll just regroup in hell.
It could be that the Na'vi part of his being takes over and he learns to trust in the power of Awa. Perhaps this could even work alongside our previous prediction. Spider could turn toward a darker path, which is in turn juxtaposed with his father's path toward the light. Of course, very little of these predictions contend with the primary antagonist within Avatar, the RDA. We think that they have big plans in store for our heroes and the planet they're trying to protect. Considering we'll be meeting a group of characters who themselves have contended with their environment being destroyed, it would make sense for the story to follow the RDA trying to terraform Pandora to be a better habitat for human beings. Considering that breathing is the primary issue with humans lasting on the planet, it seems obvious that their plans would relate to that problem. Pandora has a high concentration of carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide, which are both hazardous to humans. Whatever the RDA decides to do will likely take the form of a virus or terraforming structure to reduce these levels and increase oxygen levels. This could mean restructuring the genetic makeup of plants and wildlife, which in turn would be a threat to Eywa's very existence. With Giovanni Ribisi's Parker Selfridge set to return in the third installment in a larger role, it would make sense for him to be behind this plan, which would inevitably result in higher earnings for the RDA, which would be able to spearhead a colonization initiative while also mining all of that sweet unobtainium.
Because this little gray rock sells for 20 million a kilo. That's the only reason.
Another loose thread that might be picked up in Fire and Ash is Kiri's parentage. While she's the child of Dr. Grace Augustine's avatar, there's been no confirmation on how she came to be conceived.
Why am I different?
While there is the possibility that Grace was just more intimate with her subjects than she initially let on, the more likely and most telegraphed story is that she is the byproduct of Eywa. We think this is the most likely situation, that Eywa impregnated Grace's avatar to create a living, speaking being with direct contact to Eywa. Essentially, Kiri will be revealed to be a sort of chosen one character, seeing as she can control the nature around her, and even uses a daisy anemone to kill her enemies in way of water. It wouldn't be surprising to see her powers expanded on in the sequel. Perhaps she'll even use them to take down whatever dastardly plan the RDA comes up with. Finally, there's the big blue marble in the room, Earth. We know that at some point the Avatar films will give us a proper glimpse at the planet it's, and it seems likely that Jake and Neytiri will be the ones to travel there. Truthfully, we don't think that they'll make that journey during the runtime of Avatar 3, partially because James Cameron himself has stated that Avatar 5 will be the one to go to Earth.
I will say that in one of the upcoming films, you will see action on Earth.
However, we do think that plans will be set into motion in Avatar 3 for the eventual journey to Earth. That said, Cameron is known to make changes to the Avatar franchise, so it could be that we see the journey to Earth in Avatar 4. Either way, we'll get there eventually, and that's it for our speculation. What do you think? Is Spider likely to become a villain? And do you think Quaritch deserves a redemption arc? What about the RDA's plans? How do you think they'll make the life of Jake Sully harder this time around? Let us know in the comments, and thank you for watching ScreenRant.